Hello and welcome to Dongamet channel. I made this thing. I know what you're thinking. It looks like it's designed to go in a hole. Correct. This hole here. Our story begins earlier today. I was down in the cups. I decided to make myself a chopping table. So I'll be able to hopefully demonstrate that soon enough. But I'm going to need to tap some holes into this big old block, 4 holes, and then jam the 4 legs in there. So this is the slender one. I have one that's like this wide. So yeah, I needed a handle, and I carried this one back because it's the lighter one, put in my pocket for sizing, because they're identical up there, the 2 ogres. So I just needed a handle, as I say, and I rummaged around in my box of seasoned woods, came up with this lilac stick, bark and everything, about that long. Thought that looked pretty good, and I've been having a lovely old whittle. I started out with the knife that was on the table in front of me, which is the buck highline, and I actually put this through a staple yesterday. Well, not through. The staple ripped out a little bit of apex up here, so I didn't worry too much about that because it was up there. I just kind of used it, and once it started getting dull, then I sharpened the whole thing. And this is D2 steel, actually, than this highline, and it seems really good and hard, and good sort of stripper, this hollow grind. But after a while, I had this yen for this knife here. The Linder, see if I can remember this all. Linder Super Edge Evo X7 in NitroX7. Because I wanted something that will cut smoothly. And this steel, I feel, has a wonderful smooth grain structure. And, this knife is good and fat. So it's just stability and what have you. And I'm like, I was having such a good time with it. I'm just going to finish this thing all by knife, and it's going to look nice. And let me make a video about this. Show my friends this lovely whittling. Oh, beg your pardon. So I come in here, and then I'm like, well, let me just... I had this stack of knives here from earlier, and I said that this one had the best edge of the bunch. So let me just try this for comparison. And actually, I don't want to remove a lot more from this, so I picked up this, also a piece of lilac. And I had a little curve, and I said, wow, this thing cuts so well. It's so sharp, and so... it's really good, I think it's better. And I picked this one up. I've just been using... I'm not sure, sure enough, it doesn't cut as well. It cuts really well, really well. But I was just sitting thinking, I think this is my best steel, my best knife, my best everything. But lo and behold, here's this thing when it's presumably factory edge, and it kind of cuts better, right? But then I started doing something like this. Okay, let's have a close up. Which for me, yeah, that's really, really awesome. Let's say I'm kind of trying to take the smallest curl I can, yeah. And here, I reckon this, it's just so smooth. Now, to what degree is that the steel versus the edge versus whatever, you know, the geometry, all these different questions? I mean, there's a lot of synchronicity going on. But I do think that it has a lot to do with the steel. And I'm actually subscribed to this fella, Kase, to his channel. And I don't... I realized, because then I saw a video from him recently, and I just posted a question saying, hey, what do you got to say about NitroX7 steel? Which is a really dumb and annoying comment to make, right? But I just wanted to see what he would say. And he responded, well, what can I say? I helped to develop the steel, and I think it's an absolutely wonderful steel. And I have videos on the subject. Right? And I went back, and I'd actually seen his video on the subject. That's how I learned of the existence of the steel, was by watching his video. But that was, whatever, a year or two when it came out. And yeah, he points out this is not particle steel. This is not a... Yeah, it's not powder metallurgy. It's like AEBL. It's regular metallurgy, but it has such a refined grain structure that it puts it into the terrain of the powder metallurgy steels. And so then I just had this thought just now, which is, okay, I understand that you know, powder metallurgy is better. At least, I guess, if it comes to making stock removal stuff. I don't know what happens to it actually if you forge it. Then does it make a difference? Does it make so much of a difference, or what's the deal with that? But anyway, as a general rule, right, when you make a steel, you know, there's a powder D2, and it's better than regular D2. Anything that you make it powder metallurgy version is better, right? But then why didn't they make a powder metallurgy AEBL? Maybe it's just not necessary in that instance. You don't need. So actually, the powder metallurgy is a cheat code, right? You can take a steel that's meh, and then you use the spray tech, you know, use whatever wowie technology, and now you have vastly improved. However, what if this is just so balanced that it doesn't need it? It doesn't need that. Wouldn't that make it even superior? I mean, in principle, this is, you know, nobody said it, right? But if you read between the lines, this is supposed to be the Magna Cut killer, right? NitroX7. But there are like 2 knives available in this steel. And now they cut back on production. And you can get the steel, though. And it's you, as a knife maker, you can buy it, and it's going to be cheaper than Magna Cut. And yeah, what I was saying, reading between the lines, it's the Magna Cut killer. Now, is it? Is it a better steel than Magna Cut, which is such a great steel, the greatest knife steel ever? Well, and it's going to be down to personal taste, isn't it? That's the whole thing. I actually wanted to do a little comparative study. Come to think, because I have a very nice Magna Cut knife that should compare, you know. I mean, it's quite a different kind of blade, but probably quite a similar kind of edge geometry. Well, I probably need to sharpen it, because that's... But, I mean, this is a wonderful knife, right? Made by William Collins. Well, William Collins himself prefers AEBL to MagnaCut. He makes knives in MagnaCut because people want them, and he made this out of an offcut, so it's a one-off Sloyd knife. It's good. I mean, it's so good. All my knives are good at this point, I think. You know, even knives that I thought weren't that good, because I realized that the first impression is really lasting, you know. So I have knives that I got them and I thought, like I have one in my pocket right now. This knife, I forgot it was in this jacket. I put this jacket on to go and hang out at a friend's house, play music. I reached in the pocket and I'm like, wow, this thing, yeah, cool. Let me have a little whittle. Got it out and I was like, wow, I didn't remember this thing being so good. But that's because it wasn't so good. It was really thick and kind of, you know, it was very kind of robustly done for the tiny wee knife it is. And so I thinned it out a lot and I blended in the shoulders, and now it's really good. So I don't know. I mean, I'll whittle with anything, you know what I mean? And enjoy it and be like, wow, this is really good. But yeah, this is just next level. I mean, I think that I've just had a thought today about making another channel called like Eric Recommends Knives. Eric Recommends, or something like that, you know? And then I could focus in on knives that I really recommend. Because I think this would be one of them, you know? Although I'd have to look, maybe I would have to do some more testing. Maybe I'd even have to, depending on how deep you want to go, you know, maybe you want to buy some more of the knives from the same manufacturer. Because maybe I lucked out with this one. You know, maybe I got a good one. But if I buy 3 more, you know, maybe one of them the grind's off, one of them the heat treatment's off. I doubt it. I highly, highly doubt it. Because everything about this tells me reproducibility, right? They're making them all exactly the same, is what I'm saying. And just really, I just really like it. What can I say? It's dirty. It's scratched up. I'm sure it looked a lot nicer, you know. Brand new. There's your sheath. It's a quality sheath. I'm not mad about the handle. You know, I'm not wild about it. The material. But the shape is so good. And even for what it is, this rubberized stuff, I don't know, it's just kind of crappy, isn't it? That's probably gonna, oh wow. Well, like I say, oh, that's another thing I've been thinking about is, you know, how different people want, the same way as different people would want different things, very different characteristics maybe from a knife steel. Some people, I think they want to buy a knife that is just absolutely optimized, good to go, so to speak. It's good from the outset, right? Good factory edge, good ergos, good this, good that, good other. And I also want that, right? And so for, you know, I guess in the folding knife world, for example, you get a Spyderco, you know, you get something like that. One of the more expensive ones. One of the Japanese or US made ones. And you know, you pick the design that suits you, And basically, that when that knife comes out of the box, it's kind of the best it's ever going to be. I guess you can get into, you can change the scales out and you can do this and that, but really, I'm talking about the blade. Not to say that it's impossible to improve on a Spyderco blade in factory spec, but I'm just saying that I think the majority of people aren't going to do that, right? They want to buy the knife and they want it to be as good, and then you're just trying to keep it as good as you can for as long as you can, kind of thing. Another person might like to buy a cheap beater knife and then wear it out, or break it or lose it and repeat. And like I say, I really appreciate getting something that is good from out of the box. The minute you get it, it's just good. But I think there's a far greater allure and enchantment for me in something that I can improve on. And having said that, it should be something that's already really good that then I could improve on. More than this is an absolute turd, I think I can make it better. I have also done a bit of that. But, and they say you can't polish a turd. Well, you kind of can, actually. There are ways. For example, you desiccate it in a dehydrating oven, and then you just use a rattle can, lacquer, and then, what polish does it need, really? You can just a little wax, just buff it, But the point being, at the end of the day, it's still a turd. So, yeah, my wife gave me this Tops El Chete, and I actually thought that was a turd. I didn't want to say it, but I was kind of displeased with it to start out. But today, I put my time in on it, making it suit me. And then today I used it for some carpentry down at the Cops there. And then on the way back, I picked up a piece of, and it was quite hard use. I was chopping with it, and some seasoned maple. And then on the way back, I picked up this sear punk, an oak branch when it's just brown and crusty and half rotten. It's such good firewood when it's dry, that stuff. That's the point. But that'll maul your chainsaw or whatever. Perfect job for the chopping knife, really, I reckon. Or a hatchet or whatever. But, a chopping knife, it's just so much easier to hit the thing. The blade is long. So, yeah, I powered my way through that thing. I mean, like full body power, hitting that thing as hard as I could. And it, the first couple of cuts with it, the first cut went through in one, because it's really rotten there at the end. Yeah. And then after that, I started to have to really pound it. And the last cut I made, I maybe hit the thing 30, 60 times as hard as I could, warmed up. All of which to say, then I got home and I said, well, let me test the edge on this, and it was slicing kitchen roll cleanly. Okay, you understand? I'm not exaggerating really anything that I'm saying here. It was still slicing kitchen roll, meaning, yeah, I think it's 1095 carbon steel. So it can do that if you get the right geometry and the heat treatment and so forth. I guess it's not like an absolutely staggering accomplishment, but it was very satisfying, to say, wow, I could do all of that with this knife, with the kind of refined edge that I put on it, and it's still, the apex is good, right? Yeah, that's very satisfying to me. And so back to the point of this knife as well. The handle is an eminently moddable aspect of most knives. Even the handle on this, which is you know, precision made, so to speak, but it wouldn't be too hard for me to switch out the scales on this for some cherry burl or something, you know, get a good fitment. I could do that with the skills and tools that I have. I don't need to, because it's really nice micarta. But this, I think I'm starting to think that the wooden handle is just really where it's at, you know, because that's not really a new argument, is it? But I would just like to say that wood has these resonant capabilities that don't exist in the world of synthetics. Although, see how that just kind of sounds muted, right? There is a muting effect, which, okay, counts for shock absorption, if you're concerned about that. But hickory is also known for excellent shock absorption, but it also transmits. And so this gives you more feedback. This handle gives you more feedback. You know, there is vibration. I'm making this cut, okay, and I can feel the vibrations in this hand. Very clearly perceptible, right? And that is telling me what's happening at the apex, right? You know, you can't use a microscope while you're cutting. So you rely on other perceptions. And it is kind of sad, you know, and I think that this knife would be vastly improved. I mean, I can still feel it. I can still feel it, but it's like it's next door with soundproofing. I can feel it with this rubber handle. Okay, it has definitely got a ton of advantages. How are those nail marks doing? Yeah, durability doesn't seem to be one of them. Okay, 22 minutes. Kind of made various points here. Little coffee break. Right, well, I'll just do a spot of whittling. This was the thicker end, and it had has some amazing naughtiness going on. At one point, I put some tight bond glue, just kind of slathered it. Yeah, I'm not trying to go for a presentation piece, but it's got some cool stuff going on. Yeah, so I can still slim down this side a little, and this will show you